So I'm running the Chain Heal, Lightning build. Legendary that casting Chain Heal makes her next Chain Lightning instant and vice versa. So look at this. Chain Lightning, Chain Heal, Chain Lightning, Chain Heal. Very intelligent and hard rotation that's going to be very hard for a lot for this is a meme. It's a meme legendary that I feel has very niche situations, but I feel like in those niche situations it's going to be very strong. Can you imagine? Can you imagine in AoE, like exactly this situation right now? Uh-oh. This situation right now, guys, like big pulls. Well, actually there's no AoE damage happening. I wish there was AoE damage happening. But it's definitely a interesting legendary that has really changed your gameplay in these AoE situations, AoE healing situations and things like that. And besides that, I'm running Vesper Totem. So Vesper Totem is a Kyrian ability. I also have Steward that comes down and gives me some nice drinks once in a while. Again, we're gonna try and stone and do some work. We have Water Shield, Lightning Shield that replaces Water Shield. We have Earth Shield as well. Then we get Baseline. We also have a new ability. So right now, Chain Heal, Chain Light, and we have Cloud Burst. Let's go. Let's go. Chain Heal, Chain Lightning, Chain Heal, Chain Light. Oh, Chain Heal. Again, Chain Lightning is not really worth it. You have to remember, Chain Heal is like 2.5 second cast time. And Chain Lightning is around 2 second cast time, so it's pretty big. It's pretty big. The reduction on the instant cast, a lot of times people get debated into instant cast abilities because they forget about the global cooldown. But the cast time of these abilities is pretty big. So this legendary has the potential to be quite strong in AoE situations with AoE DPS needs as well. Now the thing that I'm running is Vesper Totem. So I put this Vesper Totem, 1 minute cooldown, 30 second duration. Then my next 3 healing abilities and my next 3 DPS abilities are going to splash. You can see it right now. It splashes AoE damage and it splashes AoE healing. It lasts for 30 seconds. It has a 1 minute cooldown, so the uptime is pretty insane. Okay, this is pretty... I used Mana Tide by accident. Mana Tide Totem, 3 minute cooldown. So many abilities, guys. Unpruning Resto Shaman is the key. Unpruning Resto Shaman. But Vesper Totem I feel is really interesting and really fun to play right now. Again, you can cast this again. You can cast Vesper Totem again to place it in another location. And I'm using a conjoint. I'm using an interesting conjoint right now. That Vesper Totem is 100% more effective against the target nearest to it. So if I place Vesper Totem close to a mob, that mob is going to take more damage. Or if it's an ally, it's going to take more healing. It's still going to do splash healing, but the closest mob is going to take more. So right now, and it works with Cloud Burst. You have to remember, it works with Cloud Burst. So Chain Lightning does AoE damage, Chain Heal does AoE healing. So you can see how in situations where there needs to be AoE damage, AoE healing, and if everyone's stacked, because you have to remember, Vesper Totem has a range, I just don't see, this is going to be OP. This is going to be really, really strong. But how many of these situations are you going to have? That's the big thing. How many situations are you actually going to have? So that's why I picked out a certain conjoints here to work with this build. So right now I have Chain Heal has a 40% chance of jumping to an additional target. So I'm using it with this build because, again, how would I refer to this build? I guess I refer to this AoE Shaman. AoE Shaman build because you scale better with AoE. Or you do a lot of things. You have to remember that Shaman is just by default probably gonna get better in AoE. Okay, I need to actually do damage. Chain Heal, Chain Lightning, Chain Heal, Chain Lightning, Chain Heal, Chain Lightning, Chain Heal, Vesper Totem as well. You have to remember, I forgot to mention, Vesper Totem healing. Remember this. Vesper Totem healing is actually going into Cloud Burst. At least we tested this before and it actually was working. So if you place, I don't know, Cloud Burst Vesper Totem type of deal, and then you, I don't know, Chain Heal all the way, you're going to be doing a lot of, or there's going to be a lot of healing absorbed by a Cloud Burst. So that's very interesting synergy with Vesper Totem and Cloud Burst Totem right now. You have to keep in mind the only thing that I find weird with Cloudburst, or sorry, with Vesper Totem, basically when you place your Vesper Totem, your next 3 damaging abilities are going to splash AoE damage, and next 3 healing abilities are going to splash AoE healing. But it doesn't matter which ability you're going to be casting, so it's kind of weird. So if I put my Cloudburst or my Vesper Totem, you would expect that my, I don't know, chain heal ability that hits everything would do more healing, but it doesn't. It doesn't really. Like, it does the same amount of healing that my Riptide would do. So I do find that a bit interesting and a bit weird, because I would like Vesper Totem to act like Cloudburst, or at least a bit more like Cloudburst, where, you know, the bigger the heal, the more absorption you get, or bigger heal from Cloudburst. So right now it's more about just casting 3 abilities. Okay, I've not done this boss, I have no idea what to do here. I have no idea what to do here. I mean, it doesn't seem too bad. So I also should mention I'm running talent Surge of Earth, that basically if I use it, it's going to consume up to 3 charges and heal up to 6 allies near your Earth Shield target. I'll be honest with you, it seems a bit weird in Mythic Plus. It doesn't do a whole lot of healing. I don't see it as a big option over Echo of Deluge or Deluge right now, but it might change because there's a legendary for Earth Shield as well. The Earth Shield legendary that I won't be covering yet seems to be broken in terms of the tooltip. So the Earth Shield legendary, basically, if you use your healing wave, it's going to add an additional charge onto your Earth Shield. And it does do that, don't get me wrong, it does do that. So I looked at the legendary for Earth Shield, and it has certain issues right now. I'm not sure how powerful it's going to be, I'm not sure if I'm going to be testing it, but I'm definitely going to be testing a Riptide build in my next video. Riptide build is going to be very interesting with a certain Covenant. I feel that like the Riptide build is going to be more maybe raid oriented, but we'll check it. Because it has very interesting conjuncts. There's potency conjuncts that were not available for Holy Paladin, but they're available for Resto Shaman, and some of them are really juicy. Like, I mean, the Earth Shield, when they increase the ceiling on an Earth Shield target by 5%, could be interesting. But there is one that using Healing String Totem increases the healing of your next 3 healing surges, healing waves, or Riptide, and I'll cover this later on. I'll cover this. So okay, Cloudburst, Vesper Totem, Chain Lightning, Chain Heal, Chain Lightning, Chain Heal, Chain Lightning, Chain Heal, Chain Lightning, Chain Heal. And Cloudburst went off as well, and it was a Giga Cloudburst as well. Again, there was not a lot of AoE damage needed, so my Chain Lightning was kind of useless, but I just did it for Chain Heal. I don't know if you're going to play it like that. I don't know if it's going to be worth, because it is quite mana intensive as well, you have to remember. I have no idea what this boss does. This seems very interesting. Do we need to stack on this guy? Seems like we needed to stack on him, no? So now we use Cloudburst, Chain Heal, or Chain Lightning, Chain Lightning, Chain Heal, Chain Lightning, Chain. Super cool, man! And Cloudburst is gonna expire, I'm gonna heal up a lot of people. And my Vesper Totem was only available at the end. So that combo of... the whole combo of Vesper Totem, Cloudburst, Chain Lightning, Chain Heal in AoE situations. Okay, I'm gonna use Vesper Totem here. I'm gonna use Chain Lightning. And to Chain Heal I have a magic debuff. Chain Lightning, Chain Heal, Chain Lightning, Chain Heal. And my Vesper Totem is healing and dealing damage. I find it interesting. I find that this combo of Covenant and Legendaries is definitely an interesting playstyle that is definitely very different from what you have, but I'm scared about the mana consumption on this because Chain Heal is very expensive, and also you probably need to use a conjurant that makes your Chain Heal jump. Everyone needs to spread, so my Chain Heal... Let's use our Vesper Totem, Chain Heal, get Riptides out there. Get a damage as well. Again, no Ignis potential, no OP damage. We have Healing Tide as well. We're gonna use Chain Lightning, Chain Heal, Chain Lightning, Chain Heal. Just to meme guys. Just to meme with this legendary, just to abuse the system with this legendary is. Again, I felt like that was a fun fight. That's probably going to be a nice healing fight in the later stage. This dungeon is crazy, man. It's like, it has the vibe of League of Legends Vladimir or something. Let's do a Stun Totem. Again, I have Frost Shock that doesn't work. My Frost Shock debuff, look at this, it doesn't seem to apply. Or maybe it just can't be slowed. So we have a lot of new abilities as Resto Shaman. There's a bunch of new abilities, a bunch of new keybinds. Primal Strike, which I feel is really weird to have as a ranged healer, to have this ability, but Blizzard gave it. There's a lot of things that you need to put on your bars. There's things like, you know, Lightning Shield, Water Shield. Lightning Shield overrides, Water Shield overrides Lightning Shield and vice versa. And if you put Earth Shield on yourself, or if you put Earth Shield on yourself, it's gonna override it. So you need to make sure that you keep track of these. Just like it worked previously. I've seen this boss before, I think. I think this was really interesting. You need to somehow soak all the pillars, from what I remember. Okay, the Boomkin didn't move out, that was dangerous. Let me see, I need to everyone needs to stay and soak, yeah, okay, I don't know. I honestly have no idea. Let's go Cloudburst and Vesper Totem. I don't have Vesper Totem. Like I mentioned before, Vesper Totem feeds into Cloudburst. It feeds into Cloud. I think I need to stay here. I definitely should not do guides for dungeons though, that's for sure. Let's go, guys. Let's use mana. Yeah, we use Mana Tide just to use it. This was a fun dungeon, I have to say. This was actually a fun dungeon, and I like the Shaman build. Although it is kind of a meme, because it's mainly aimed at AoE healing and AoE damage, I do feel it's a fun playstyle. But outside of the legendaries and Covenant abilities, Resto Shaman has not seen a whole lot of changes. Like I mentioned before, you do have the talent, Surge of Earth, which I didn't really use a lot. And it does have synergy. This does have synergy with your legendary for Earth Shield. Healing is increased by 300% if your Earth Shield target is below 50% health, and Healing Wave adds a stack to Earth Shield to your target. So this does have synergy with this, but I haven't really tested it. Overall, I felt it was pretty fun. Generally speaking, I thought it was a pretty fun playstyle, and I don't think it's going to be viable for everything. It's going to be somewhat of a niche pick, but we'll see how Blizzard is going to tune those abilities.